Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast, presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the MitsuTimes podcast. My guest today is none other than Mr. Jim Flash. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing pretty well, and you, Josh?
I'm doing great. Such an honor to have you on. I love everything that you're doing up there, and not only are you doing stuff for yourself, but you're also doing stuff for the community. So I definitely have to say I appreciate it before we get started here.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Jim, can you introduce yourself and tell us what you drive?
Sure thing. My real name is Jimmy Briand, but online everyone knows me as Jim Flash. I'm 48 years old. I'm originally from a small town in the province of Quebec called Rimouski, but now I live on the south shore of Montreal. Before we dive in, I just want to make sure that everyone understands that English is not my first language. So if anything I say or sound bits off, well, I hope you bear with me. I drive a 1997 Mitsubishi GSX Eclipse automatic, and I bought this car way back in 2001, actually.
Wow. So, Jim, what is it that got you into DSMs and drag racing originally?
Well, back in 1995, I saw my first 2G Eagle Talon in front of the local Chrysler dealership, and immediately I fell in love with the look of the car. Started to look at the technical details in the car books and magazines, because in 1995 no internet was there, and I realized this was something wild. Back then, this four-cylinder turbo all-wheel drive was almost just as quick as the supercars at that time on the 0-60 miles per hour, and then I felt that the statistics was quite amazing, and then the car intrigued me, and then I wanted to have one back then. As for the drag racing, it came first on the fall of 2002. On my first year of owning this car, I stumbled upon the DSM Quebec bulletin board, and right away I saw people talking online about quarter miles time and all the potential of these cars. And in September 2002, I decided to join them on a local track and did my very first 8-mile pass, a record-breaking 8.96 second at 86 miles per hour. And the car was bone stock. I was a total newbie, but I was hooked. And it's kind of crazy to see or to think how far I've come since then. These days, I'm running faster than that time, but on a full quarter-mile track.
Yep. How far it's come, right?
It is. It's crazy.
All right, Jim, so let's talk about the setup on your car. What's going on under the hood of your 8-second 2G?
Sure thing. This car went under a lot of setups over the last 24 years, but here's a high-level breakdown of the actual engine setup. I've got a 2-liter 6-bolt stock crank and still cast iron block. I've got a sets of R&R aluminum rods, Wiseco pistons. It's a Pulsar Turbo 7375G. The car is controlled by a Fueltech FT550. It's got a GMF billet drag racing intake manifold, sets of GSC 280 cams, a Magnus mechanical fuel pump. It's still running on E98, and also have 100 shots of nitrous to spool up and go down to 60 foot.
Wow. Well, Jim, if I haven't said it already, you are the 2G auto record holder. So I want to talk about what all is done to the auto trans to make it hold up to that abuse of those crazy numbers you're making.
Yeah, well, just like the engine, the transmission had a lot of different setup through the years, but I think that I now found the right parts, and more importantly, how to install them and maintain them properly. So it's not that difficult, but here's the list. It's running on Kigley front clutch billet basket, I have the Jeff Bush rear clutch basket, the Toe Performance outlaw valve body, straight cut gears, and a Quaife front LSD. Um, I'm planning to add for safety measure the Kigley planetary gear set later on this season or during the winter. I've never had a planetary failure, but I know it's just around the corner. With the new strategy for the launch I have in the car and the perfect track prep that we have at Napierville, um, the last 10 passes that I made were in the 1.260s foot time. On a bad start, the car will give me a 1.27. On a good start, it will give me a sub 1.25. And the fastest 60 foot I've went on was 1.22.
Mm,
So I know I'm stretching any OEM parts in there, and that's why I want to pad myself as much as I can
for sure.
with everything available. Yep.
Those transmission internals are hanging on for dear life.
Oh yeah.
Well, Jim, when it comes to suspension, tires, and weight saving, what are you doing to make those eights possible?
um, Right now, the car is running on four 26 inches Mickey Thompson slicks, and I'm running a simple set of BC Racing coilover. But for the weight saving, the car has a lot of carbon fibers, so hood, hatch, fender, sunroof cap, doors, dash, almost everything available is on there. I got all sets of Lexan windows, a completely gutted interior. It's a full race car, so everything was removed to save weight. And with me in it, it's still a little bit heavy on my point of view, but it's a little over 2750 pounds with
Wow,
me in it. Yep,
that's perfect for World Cup weight.
it is. Yep.
Okay. Well, Jim, who tuned your car, and what platform are you using for engine management?
Um, Engine management, the car's running with the FuelTech FT550. And then since I switched to that FuelTech management system, it's my good friend Patrick Dumont at ACSP Tuning, who's doing most of the heavy lifting when we're talking about tuning of this car. Um, I also got some really nice tips and tricks from Jake Montgomery for the two steps and 60-foot strategy tuning. I owe him a lot of those results. And also reliability. He's by far one of the most reliable guy I find in the DSM community, and I'm quite happy to be able to have his advice on this. Um, at the track, I do all the adjustments and log analysis myself. I used to do all my tuning when the car was running on the good old ECM link, but nowadays with the car pushing close to 1,000 horsepower, you don't have much space for errors, and therefore I rather have a good and solid base map and then tweak it myself from there.
Okay. And then, Jim, I know there's probably a lot of people who want to be where you are. They have a 2G, maybe they're running 10s or 9s, and they're just, they're aspiring to get down into the 8s where you are. What have been some of your biggest hurdles to get down there into the 8s?
Oh man, the quantities of hurdles and nightmares I had with this car, it's crazy. Going 10 seconds with an all-wheel drive DSM is quite easy, I would say. Nowadays, you can just slap some good bolt-ons part and you'll be running 10 without too much hassles and money spent. Um, Going into the 9th second has been a real struggle for me back in the days. My first mistake was I wanted to have a 9-second street car, full weight, AC, and everything. Um, Second mistake was I tried for too long to run with the 2.4 liters. Once I understood that weight was the ultimate enemy and the 2 liter was the way to go, I got I got within the 9 seconds consistently and more easily. So 9 second comes with weight reduction in my mind. I feel that actually any digit change is a huge barrier for anyone drag racing. Going in the 8 second zone has been a difficult level for me. The 8 second came with the fuel tech and also understanding the OEM coils with the 2002 Tukico suspension was not going to cut it. Um, in fact, it took me too long to realize you need to have a race car setup for every aspect of your program when you want to have race car results, aka 8 second quarter mile pass.
Yeah.
So um, make sure you look at your weight and make sure you have a good suspension setup. Those are something that I've waited too long to change on the car.
And we hear that a lot too about the stroker motors. A lot of people kind of regret having them for so long. They wish they just went back to the 2 liter.
Oh yeah, it was a popular move back in the days, but everyone realized that it couldn't withhold the power or the RPM, so you were doomed from the beginning.
So, Jim, what has been your worst mechanical failure at the track?
Um, I've had a lot of mechanical failure over the years. But my worst one was at the DSM shootout actually in 2019. Um, I was thrilled. Brand new engine with the FFWD Vader aluminum rods. Earlier in that season, the car ran like 906. So with the track prep at Summit and the new engine, I was ready to hit my first 8 second pass. We were a bunch of crazy Canadian attending to this shootout that year. We were all pumped. First time ever, I would be running in the quick 32 class. I would be running against all my heroes like Kickley, Red Demon, Aaron. It was surreal. Uh, I don't stand a chance against any of them, but just to be aligned with them at the same event was making me super excited. And then time for Q1, I bring the car to the line, turn down the 60 foot a bit because this track is well known to be hard on the drivetrain. I launch. I'm happy. Past the 8 mile mark, and just before the 1,000 foot mark, poof, huge amount of white smoke everywhere, oil in the windshield. I know it's bad, but I'm going at 135 plus miles per hour, and I don't see much actually. I slow down the car, pull over, and realize the engine is literally in pieces.
Oh my gosh!
One of the rods just completely disintegrated, and what was supposed to be the most epic DSM weekend only last like 1,000 foot.
Oh my gosh! To come all that way to make
Yes,
1,000 foot pass.
exactly.
Well, Jim, one thing that I like to kind of get into your head about is what does a typical race day look like for you? What's your routine when you from unloading to getting up to the staging line?
Um, for me personally, I don't like to do big mechanical change or repair at the track. So when I bring the car to my SSPA event, the car is washed and ready. Once I load the car in the trailer at home, I make sure it's ready to hit the track. So unloading is mostly to set up the tent, the tools, inspecting one last time everything around, tires, fuels, and stuff. But that's about it. Then depending on the temperature, because in Montreal we have quite it might be different from from one event to another, like really big difference. So depending on the temperature, I might do a little warm up and also do a two-step foot brake boost strategy before going for my first hit. Then once it's time to bring the car to the line, I make sure I warm up the brakes because if you don't, you might not be able to hold the car while doing the gas brake strategy. And I've heard so many times the story, you automatic guy, it's so easy compared to manual transmission. Well, I would agree for the automatic with the trans brake setup, but in the DSM world, it's not that easy, especially if you're racing and want to cut a good light. There's quite a bit of a strategy to adopt.
For sure, and to keep everything from blowing up.
Exactly.
Well, Jim, what would you say has been your most memorable pass you've made in this car so far?
um, I've had many memorable pass, but in this car, but right now the one that stands out the most is my first 8 second pass. I've waited 4 years to go from 906 to 892. So it took me 4 years of trying and breaking parts and trying again and going back to finally hit that 8 second record. This was a huge and emotional achievement for me. Many racers will confirm this, but when everything goes properly, you feel the car going fast, but it's not that scary. It's a smooth pass. You finish your run, you're happy with it, and then you look at the time slip, and you can't believe it because it didn't look slow, but it looked smooth, right? So that's why they say smooth is fast, and that's exactly what this 892 pass and I would say all of my 8 second passes nowadays are super smooth. Like I could probably potentially hold the car like with only 2 fingers on the steering wheels,
Wow.
because it's straight as an arrow and it's quite easy, but it's quite fast as well. But I'm obviously I'm not holding the car like that, but um, it's um, it's a fun ride.
Yeah. This episode of the MitsuTimes podcast is brought to you by Performance Part Out. Performance Part Out is your leading source for new and used DSM and Galant VR4 parts. John works tirelessly to precisely deconstruct salvageable parts in order to keep yours on the road. They stock everything from engine cores to gauges to injectors and much, much more. If they don't have it in stock, they can probably get it. Check out their huge selection at performancepartout.com. Well, Jim, what about your not so fun rides? You know, oftentimes we see a part break and a car cut hard towards the
Hmm.
wall or towards the other car. Have you ever had a sketchy moment at the track?
I've been lucky enough to not have too much of those ones. Um, I think the worst one was that angel failure back in at Summit in 2019,
Yeah.
not being able to see in front of you where you're going because of all the smokes and all the oil on the windshield is it was a scary moment. Although my very last pass 2 weeks ago, was also a sketchy one, right at the 1,000 foot mark again. My aluminum drive shaft decided to leave the chat, and it exited right in the middle of the back of the car. But when it hit the ground, I saw later in people's videos that it flew like 50 foot in the air,
Oh my
and
God.
thank God it didn't touch anybody or my opponent. But
Oh,
um, I didn't feel bad or dangerous in the car. But when I look back at the videos, I was like, oh shit, that could have been like a real situation here.
right. Wow, that's scary.
Oh yeah.
Jim, what did it take to become the world's quickest Auto 2G, like I said before?
Um, oh boy. It takes so many things. First of all, it takes dedication. Dedication. The level of dedication required for this is close to craziness level. Um, I did not plan on having the world first, the world's quickest Auto 2G. I've never been a big fan of those micro records, but it's still an interesting achievement.
For sure.
Um, what I wanted for this car is to achieve the performance of what the car was capable of. It's not because you have 1,000 horsepower rated turbo that suddenly you can run full power or you can run decent track time. When you do the had the car on the internet, it's actually the easiest part of your journey. Making everything working together to its full potential has always been my goal, and I think it's been achieved now. Um, The second thing it takes after dedication or craziness, it takes money. It's a sport that if you want to go fast, you'll need money to run, maintain, and upgrade your race program. That's also a little bit unfortunate, but that's part of the game. It's
Mhm.
we need money, and lastly, you need support. This cannot be done alone. I've been lucky enough to have support from my girlfriend Stephanie, my boys William, Hugo, and lastly my friends. In fact, I'm saying this often, but when it comes to families and friends, I think I'm the luckiest guy alive.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Well, Jim, one thing I like to highlight is the culture that comes with DSM. So I want to talk about how the community has impacted your journey with this car.
Wow, the DSM community is responsible for everything I have done to this car and also for racing. I don't have to explain it to you, but the DSM community is unique. Um, you will not find it anywhere else. Back in the days, you'd have those discussion board where you could find all the answers to your questions and have all the help in the world, even if nobody knew you. I felt in love with the car first, but then I fell in love with the mentality of the DSMers. Um, we have endless memories at our DSM shootout trips, and even if the cars are getting older now, we still have amazing weekends during my SSPA events in Napierville.
Hmm.
Um, some of my best friends in life are from the DSM Quebec community, and even if Facebook kind of killed the original spirit of the bulletin board, we're
Sure.
still all in contact somehow, and we are still racing a couple of times a year and throwing out some good parties. So the culture, the community has been everything for me with this car.
I love it. Well, Jim, like you said, over 24 years, your car has had a ton of different setups. Well, in your opinion, what has been the most underrated mod or upgrade that you can think of that every DSM drag racer should know about?
It might have been just me who was just too dumb to know those ones, but I would recommend three things that I wish I would have done way sooner. Um, First one, harmonic balancer. Ditch the OEM one and get ASAP an ATI pulley. Um, this will extend the life of your engine dramatically and will remove so many vibration and weird stuff happening, especially if you're running a automatic transmission. I've lost, I think I've lost years with an S at the end of racing development because my all my bolts on the torque converter were getting loose and stuff. And as
Right.
soon as I put the ATI pulley, everything has been, you know, smooth and kept in place and perfectly aligned. So I'm like, wow, this should have been done way before.
I'm going to order one right
Um,
now. Wow.
Second one, and it's not that expensive either, right? So it's just that I feel that's many of all the DSMers, we want to go fast. So we look at the parts, like which parts is going to get me faster and go and give me more horsepower, right? The harmonic balancer is not going to give you any horsepower. Um, so that's why I think it's not a super popular first move for anybody, but I think it's a world saver. Um, as for the second one, I would say also came way too late on my race program was a decent suspension, decent alignment, and corner weight. Um, get a real race suspension, one that you can dial in properly, that you can bring to a suspension or alignment shop that can do corner weight for you while you're sitting on the car and while it's race ready because that's your real weight and that's how the car will react on the track. So this will save you so many drivetrain parts and also will make the car go straight as an arrow. And that's exactly what happened to me. The car was always swirling to the left at the beginning and then to the right just after I pinned the second gear. And then right after doing the corner weight, um, I didn't move the steering wheel anymore after that. So It's quite interesting to see the huge difference it made on my car.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the last one is obviously it's not obvious, but I mean it's a standalone ECU, and in my mind, if you plan on running more than deeper going in the 9 second zone, do yourself a favor and buy an ICCU. For 20 years, I was the ECM link tuner for everyone, and it's an amazing tool, but it has its limitations. And the standalone gives you so many more options, and it will make you go faster for less money. So I've been an advocate for ECM link. It's still probably the best like engine management for street cars. But if you want to go racing and be serious about it, get yourself a standalone ECU for sure.
Definitely. I definitely can't recommend a standalone ECU enough just to save you the money and blowing up your engine or drivetrain or whatever.
Exactly.
Well, Jim, now that you're kind of on top of the game, what's next for the build? Are you going for more power or safety upgrades, or are you going to shoot for a 7?
Um, well, for this winter, I'm not planning on adding more power. I'm planning to add more safety within the car. I want to upgrade my cage. Right now, as per the NHRA rules, the cage within the car is good until 850, and I'm running faster now. So I'll have a 7.5 gauge built. I want to add a window net, a fire suppression system, a better remote kill switch, a new parachutes, and also I want to have the all the floors and firewall holes shut with iron plates. Make sure that I'm running safely. Uh, if safe is something in a race car, I want to be safe here. I would say. Then plan is also to optimize the future setup, find small details to make the car go faster without necessarily change all the setup. Running a low 8 second cars under any condition as soon as it's out of the trailer consistently and with some reliability is an achievement on its own. So we always want to go faster, but for now I'm focusing on finishing the car around the setup and before changing the actual setup.
Smart. I like it. And Jim, like you said, you've been in the DSM game for so long. What advice would you give someone who's maybe just starting out and drag racing their DSM?
Um, First, make sure your car runs every year. Um, I have seen so many people starting a project, getting out their favorite car, and then finding after everything has been removed and cut from the car that this was going to be more difficult or more expensive than they thought. Um, put a car in pieces is easy. Building a car from parts, now that's a huge task. Um, Simple thing, don't remove your old turbo until you have the new one and all the parts required to install the new one in your hands. Um, Make sure again the car runs every year. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure you start it. Make sure you have seat time every single year. That's been my mantra for the last 24 years. It's the least I've run the car was 2 kilometers, but at least it ran every year.
Right.
Um, then plan your ship. Make yourself a plan and follow it. If you're serious about racing, find the classes around you where you can race and build your car around their rules. So many times I've seen setups unfit for any classes or only fit for classes way too fast for them. So don't just build uh, on parts available. Build on where and which class you want to race for.
I like it. I definitely wish someone would have told me that years ago. Make sure my car runs every year.
It's a huge task, but it's important for me.
Right. I mean, it's important for me, and I assume a lot of people, because it's really easy to lose motivation when you're
Oh
in the
yeah,
middle of the field.
like I say, it's you need at least one candy per year. So will it be a startup? Will it be a run? Will it be a record? you need something every year to keep the motivation.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Jim, are there any events that we can see your car in action at this year?
Um, I make my race program around my own drag series, SSPA Quebec. We do 4 events per year, and I feel it's enough for the time I want to spend on this and the amount of money required to run those 4 events decently. So for this year, we have 2 more events. So September 13th and 14th, and October 4th and 5th. Um, I certainly hope the cold fall weather will help me out a bit to go a little deeper in the 8 second zone. Um, and then after that, I will be attending to help my friend running at the World Cup final at Maryland, but I'll be without my car.
Will we see your car there in the future, maybe?
Um, it started to, it has never been on the radar, but going deep in the 8 second zone and looking at my 8 mile time,
Mm-hmm.
I ran 5:32, and the stage two for limited street was 5:29 this year. So um, it was kind of a thing on the radar. It didn't happen, and it's a good thing because the car, I think, because it's all the safety that I said before,
Right.
was not was not up to par, and it's okay. I'm in peace with this. But to be quite honest with you, I started thinking about this more and more. But there's also other things on the bucket list. Sick week might be one thing
Okay.
a little bit above World Cup in my mind. I want it's on my bucket list. I need to do it's either drive to Sick Week or help someone with Sick Week car, but um, I need to do this before I die. So it's on the bucket list more than World Cup finals. So I don't know which one will come first, but
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those two for sure.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it seems like World Cup is so far, so far away that you won't be able to make it, and then all of a sudden you find yourself maybe being able to qualify for it, and that's huge.
Exactly. So the best are the best. And then you when you look at you, like, I don't know for you, but for me, I don't look at myself as being, one of the top ones or one of the fastest one, and then suddenly you look at the paper on the papers, you look at the numbers, and you're like, just like the fastest 2G DSM, I'm like automatic DM. I'm like, really? I'm that guy now. So I mean, okay. And same thing for the World Cup. World Cup was always been for my super fast guy friends that I have bring over there, and year after year after year, and now it's like, okay, it's my turn now. It could be my turn. I'm like, I'm still amazed by that, but yeah, it's something possible in the near future.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I would love to see some more Mitsubishis at World Cup for sure.
Are you planning to come this year too?
Oh yeah, of course.
Perfect.
I got to support all the Mitsubishi guys. I know you're there for a non-Mitsubishi people,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
well, Jim, is there anybody that you want to call out this season? I know a lot of the SSPA guys they have a lot of fun calling each other out.
Well, I don't have anyone specific to call out in the SSPA people group. They're all my friends. They're all my racers, and I take care of them. And it's I don't see them as opponent. Basically, but I, I don't really have someone. But although I'm waiting to see if Richard will claim back this micro records of ours of the fastest ATX 2G. He said he would on Facebook. So we'll see.
I, I think he just got it all back together, so I think he's going to make a run for it at the shootout.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
And Jim, where can people find and follow you on social media so they can see some more of your beautiful 2G?
Um, for if you want to find me on Instagram or Facebook, you can search for Jim Flash. And you can also look for my drag series, SSPA Quebec. So those are the 2 pages that we are maintaining and then putting on all the nice stuff. And then with SSPA Quebec, you'll see many nice pictures of the car, many nice pictures of all the others, DSMers as well. Although Jason Drew is not able to race this year, he's an amazing photographer, and he's making quite good photos for us and for the first two events. So it's nice to have him on board for this.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely love seeing the pictures, and they're always great quality. But Aaron did say that Jason was sitting out on purpose this year.
Well, I don't know. It's we'll see about that. This is to be quite honest, I've seen some call-outs and some rivalry, but I think the Aaron's and Jason one has been one of the funniest one I've seen in years, and I want this to be happening. I don't want this to end up. I want them to fight all the way over, because it's so funny how they do it.
Yeah. Well, Jim, at the end, I always give people a chance to give a thanks or a shout out. Is there anybody that you would like to give a thanks or a shout out to?
Oh yeah. The first person who comes to mind is my love, Stephanie Laws. She's my number one fan, and the most supportive girl a racing man can ask for. She's the COO of SSPA Quebec, and she's always pushing me and encouraging me further. Then many persons have helped me out with this build, and I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. First person, Patrick Dumont from ACSP Racing. He's my engine builder, he's my fabricator, he's my tuner, and he's also my race mentor. GF Kelly from TFP has done some amazing fab work on this car as well. Jake Montgomery, this guy's always there to answer all my questions, and he's the one responsible for the perfect and smooth launching strategy I'm currently running. Aaron and Kevin from Kigley Racing. Anyone in the DSM community knows them and love them. They are amazing humans, and thank God they still love this platform and still develop some parts for the crazy ones who still run them. Fun fact, 20 years ago, back in 2005, we go to our first DSM shootout. The Quebec guys, the crazy Canadian, goes to the first DSM shootouts, and I know nobody from the USA community. We're in the pit lane waiting for the run, and then I see this pregnant lady pushing a gray front-wheel drive 1G laser towards the burn-in box. And I start running towards her, and I said, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but there's no way in hell you are going to push this car this weekend while you're pregnant in this heat. And then from now on, I'm pushing this car." And this is how I started to talk with Aaron and Kevin. This is how our relationship started. Yep. Yep.
Wow.
And I also want to thank all the person who helped me or still help me in my racing days. Tommy, my current crew chief, his daughter Emmy, Eric, Maxime, Gaetan, Kathleen, Francis, Martin. I'm sure I'm missing a ton of person, but thanks to everyone, because I need you all.
Perfect. Jim, thank you so much for taking the time to come on here and tell your story. I know you're a busy man. I definitely can't wait to see you in action and see you again in person here soon.
Yeah, and I'm not going to the shootout this year, but it's definitely something I might be trying to put in the calendar for next year. And for sure, when you see me on the starting line at the World Cup, come and see me, and come and have a beer at the RV, and then we'll have fun.
You got it. I'll be there.
Sure
All
thing.
right, I'll talk to you later.
Have a good one, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.